Welcome to another episode of Bound by Divine Words podcast. Today I have a special guest who is an award winning author and has just written her latest book with her husband called When Love is Angry. Please help me welcome Ruthie Griffin. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, for being a guest on the podcast. And I'm ready to kind of dive in, to be honest with you, because when I saw that title, when love
Mhm.
is angry, I'm like, okay, I got to hear more about this. I really got to hear more. So you're gonna have to tell me a little bit more about that. But when love is angry, so just
Absolutely.
share that.
Absolutely. And thank you for having me on. So in 2005, I was diagnosed with bipolar 2 depression. My husband and I had been married for a few years at that point. We had young children, and it had a really tough impact on our marriage. We were still, we were young, we were newly married, and we didn't know how to respond to each other. We didn't know how to help one another. I didn't know how to help him understand. He didn't know how to help me with a disease. So it was just most of the time, it was anger, it was emotions, it was, silence on his part, it was negativity on my part. And it got to a boiling point. And we always said that divorce wasn't an option, but we were moving towards something, and it was not positive. So, um, the book was written, like you said, with my husband. We offer both perspectives, and it was just I I I wasn't responding to treatment. I wasn't, I lost faith. I didn't believe that God could heal me because you don't hear about God healing mental illness. You hear about cancer and diabetes and all of that, but you don't hear about that. So I had absolutely lost all my faith that God could help me with this, and I thought I was stuck with it. But, thank God that God didn't lose faith in us. When we bow out, that's when he is, ready to work. So, um, one thing we both, even when were at our worst, the one thing that we did hold on to was God.
Mm.
And we didn't always listen. Um, but he made it a point to get both our attentions. And once he got that, we were able to start healing, start mending, and mending our marriage. So when love is angry basically tells the story of that.
Wow. Now, how long have you been married?
23 years. Hmm.
Wow. So it sounds like you. How long was this rough patch for you guys before, you know, someone had to say, okay, we need to do something about this?
Oh, it was probably about 15, 16 years. It was a long time. And most people, what I think most people don't understand is that it starts off little. It starts off with, an unkind word. It starts off with, well, I'm not going to respond. Little by little, those things start eroding away at the trust and the relationship and the fellowship, so that, by year, like 15 or 16, at that point, you're not talking to each other. You're not responding. Every other word is unkind, or, you're not listening. And it's just, my husband would tell you, there were nights he didn't want to come home. And I was like, you know what? There are nights I don't want to be here. So it just, it's, the way the Bible says, it's the little foxes that ruin the patch. It was those little things that started building up and snowballing, so that, like I said, through most of our marriage, we were in a really rough patch. But
What
that
was,
has changed.
yeah, awesome. What was that defining moment? What was that turning point? Because you have beautiful children,
Yes.
so they had to
Yes.
endure, what you guys were going through also.
Well, I can tell you this, so we kind of, my husband's response, we were both brought up in the faith. We were both brought up. I was Pentecostal. My husband was Baptist. Right now, we're on non-denominational. But our response was, okay, well, God will handle this, or you just got to pray. You just got to, all the religious answers that usually don't work.
Mm,
And that I was not responding to treatment, like I said. So it was just, I came to the point where I was like, okay, God, I don't know if you can heal me or not, but I can't do this anymore. I can't
mm,
live like this anymore. And he started telling me, okay, write everything down, track your moves, do this, do this. I was lazy. I didn't do it. And it got to a boiling point. One Sunday, we were both headed out to church. We were both getting ready for church, and that depression hit me like a ton of rocks. And we got into an argument. And by the time I got to church, I was completely broken. And, when my pastor you gave an altar call, I was among the first went out there. Church ended, I was still up there, and I felt like all eyes were on me. I felt embarrassed, but you know what? That day was the day that I feel like I was completely broken.
mm,
And it was at that point that I could start picking up the pieces and, with God. So I started doing as he told me to do, track my moods, write down what I eat. It's simple enough, and I didn't think it would help. But after a few months, I started seeing patterns. I started understanding how this disease was affecting me. I started understanding that, I was reacting a certain way. I understood that I was a rapid cycler. So, for those who don't may not know what uh, bipolar depression is going all the way up to all the way down. So, bipolar 2, you experience mostly depressive episodes. And for me, some people only have two, three, four, 2 or 3 episodes a year. I was having 6 every 2 months, so I was having an episode every 2 months for 2 weeks. And I didn't understand that until I started tracking it. So, by listening to God, I was able to start controlling, understanding that I could predict when my depressive episodes were going to come.
mhm,
Therefore, I could be ready for them. I could start changing my reaction to how I think. So within a year, I was able to eliminate a lot of my triggers. Within 2 years, I had begun losing weight. I've been doing this for 5 years now, and I am down 81 pounds. Our marriage is healing. I'm healthier than I've ever been. And it's because of God. Sometimes you do have to hit rock bottom,
oh yeah,
but
yeah,
you know, God said, 1 Corinthians 10:13, he has a way out for everybody. Our afflictions are common, and this disease may not be normal, but God's got a way out. And if you'll just go to him, he'll help you through it.
yeah, yeah. That is so powerful because you are so right. It's when you are in that broken place,
Mhm.
and one of the things I heard that was so powerful, in that broken place, you have nothing left,
Mhm.
right? And in
Yes.
that place is where now God can use you. Now He
Yes.
can use you, right? Because we're just
Absolutely.
doing everything on our own will. And someone
Mhm.
said that's when He reveals our true identity in Him.
Mhm.
And that's when we
Absolutely.
begin to blossom, right?
Mhm.
And it
Absolutely.
sounds like that's, what happened for you.
Yes, yes, absolutely. It was and then that was the thing I tell people now, because again, I had my first depressive episode when I was 15. I didn't realize what it was for another 15 years. So I was undiagnosed for 15 years. Um, but the thing was, and as I was going through it, I kept saying, God, take this away. God, heal me. And if he had done it the first time I asked him, I would not be the person I am today because my self-worth was garbage. I did not understand who I was in God. I didn't understand my worth. And through this journey, I've been able to come to terms with who I am, with my humanity, but I've also been able to understand how God sees me, how he sees all of us, what he's called all of us to do. And it's just, I just marvel at it. God isn't just here to, oh, something's wrong, he's going to heal me. No, he wants to make us whole. So this journey has not just been, okay, I'm a helper with, her mental health. No, it's about making me completely whole. It's, like I said, I've been able to lose weight. I've been able to exercise daily. I love running. I hated doing that before, but I love it now. I love what I do. And to be honest, the thing that never thought I would say is that I don't regret my life. For
Mm.
all the pain that I've been through, I don't regret it because I know who I am and I can use that to help other people.
Oh, that is beautiful. Yes, that
Thank
is.
you.
Now, do you go to therapy? Do you apply that also? What are some other things you do? I know you said you write things down and you document everything.
Yes.
This is
Actually, I did start off in therapy, and I would tell anybody that I absolutely therapy is a God-given gift.
yes.
You find the right, and unfortunately, I didn't have the best, doctors. I had a wonderful therapist, and she was able to help me through some areas. So yes, I would say absolutely therapy should be a part of it. I am no longer in therapy actually, and I'm off of medication, and that was under my doctor's supervision. Um, but it is a gift, and that's the way I look at it. God ultimately, I believe all things come from God, and that we have doctors who can help us, who can talk us through, who can give us medications that can help us find some balance. Absolutely, that should be a part of our treatment and routine.
Okay. Yes, yes, I agree. I agree.
Hmm.
I work in trauma, so I definitely can understand that, therapy is so important. I've
Absolutely.
seen it really help, help our families,
Hmm.
kind of get through some really rough patches,
Oh yeah.
So I definitely agree with it.
Yes.
Um, what are some of the things you do today, to really help other people become more aware, of this mental illness?
Well, I talk about it every chance that I do get. I am actually, like you stated, I am a writer. I try to incorporate that into my books as well. I have 7 books out there. I also write romance, so um, again, I try to incorporate a little reality into that, and definitely mental illness. But the other part too is that I am a publisher as well, so I try to help. I coach other writers. I try to help them tell their story so that, as God is helping them, I can help get their story out to their community as well.
Wow. All
Mhm.
right. All right. So I always ask this question: what keeps you bound by divine work?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. I think for me, it's understanding now that what I've been through wasn't just for me. I What I go through it not terror, but now that I've been through it on the other side of, all the pain, all the tears, all the I got to the point where I was idealizing death. I was one step shy of, starting to consider suicide. But God changed all that around, and I'm still walking my walk, but my experience can help others who are struggling with similar circumstances. And that's what keeps me bound. That's what keeps me going, because I know that I've been, quote unquote, touched by God, and I can share that with others.
That's so awesome. What would you say to someone right now who is going through where you've been?
Mhm.
What would you say to them? How would you be able to kind of help them get on the right path?
Well, I mean, I would encourage them not to lose hope, not to give up. The biggest struggle I had, like I said earlier, was accepting that it actually wasn't accepting that God could heal. I believed in God. I believed that he could heal. I just didn't believe that he could heal me. Um, but I know that that's contrary to his word. That's contrary to what he states. I know right now that he loves me unconditionally, and he wants the best for me. And I know that that is true of every single person on this earth. And I would tell them, whatever it looks like now, that's just temporary. Don't lose hope because there is another side to this. There is the other side. And on that other side, you can find joy, you can find peace, you can find respite from this disease, this hardship. This is not what God intended for us, but since we're living through it, we can use it to help other people. But first we got to survive through it. So don't give up, don't lose hope.
Yes, amen. I had to learn along the way, just in my own personal journeys, that life isn't about you, it's bigger than you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. I've been, and to be honest, I grew up in the Latino household. You don't talk about these things. So,
Mm,
you don't, it doesn't leave the front door. And so for the longest time, I didn't share it with anybody, but I'm finding by being open, people were coming up to me to share that, to talk about it, because I'm open, other people can be open about it. There's no shame in this, there's no stigma in it. It's not like I'm voluntarily choosing depression, but, because of it, because I can be open about it, other people can be open as well. And that to me has been the biggest, um I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. I am in awe that by me simply talking about it, other people can find help. So, and I know that is, directed by God.
mm. Yes, it is. Yes, it
Mhm.
is. So, if someone wanted to make contact with you and learn more about you, read some of your books, how would they make contact with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a couple websites. You can go to ruthegriffin.com or www studiogriffin.net. That's my publishing company. So you can see all the different books and services on that. I'm also on social media on Facebook at author Ruth Griffin. I can also be emailed at ruthegriffin@outlook.com.
All right, all right. Ruthie, thank you so much for just gracing us with your presence and sharing your story.
Of
It was a
course. Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to share.
Yes, yes. And I want to thank the listeners for tuning in. And I hope you've been blessed because I know I have. And until next time, God bless.